I shall deal with the structures of societies in the Middle East, especially the Palestinian society, and with the structures and politics of the states. And to start with the most broiling, fervent point, the political structures of Palestinian society. We all know that the PA pays everybody kills an Israeli money as maybe he has been killed, maybe he is in Israeli prison. After 10 years of prison, you have the right to be a public servant in the government, in the administration. This money doesn't go only to the PLO, Fatah people, it goes to Hamas as well. So this division between PA and Hamas doesn't cover the real aim. Both movements, both organizations have the aim to destroy Israel and to take Israel over from their own view and to destroy the state. We have within the Palestinian society principally a tribal society consisting out of big families, clans fighting another, and we don't have a state obliged to the rule or an administration obliged to the rule of law. What will happen if a state is being installed in the areas A, B, and C? So there we have to look at the other states around. I start with Iran, and of course, to know what Iran does, you must take into account the structures of societies and states around in the Middle East. Sorry. All states are tribal. Are states having tribal societies. That means a tribal society. I can't explain it in the whole. You'll find in the two people book some more thoughts about that. A tribal society depends on families and clans fighting another and coming to a certain equilibrium between them. That means if you have a central power, be it a police, be it a parliament, be it a political power who structures everything, then they'll suppress the other clans and families. The people belonging to this power will have all power, and they will use it. Therefore, you have 7 security organizations within the Palestinian society, and you have these different clans and different structures. And that's the situation of all these societies. You find these societies in many parts of the world. It's not specific of the Near Middle East. But what is more specific in the Near Middle East, in most of these societies and states, you have radical Islamic movements. They try to conquer the state. Usually Muslim Brotherhood, sometimes IS, Al-Qaeda, and so on. The states are afraid, the governments are afraid of these movements, so you have 2 poles of power, an ellipse of power, and on the one side the state and military, police, security institution, on the other side the radicals. The middle is being torn away. That means if somebody argues for individual rights, the state and security institution will say you are arguing in favor of the radical Islamists. And if someone wants rule of law and human rights for all, of course the radicals will say that's against Islam. And they are right. The orthodox meaning of Islam is against this, against rule of law by humans. Law is enshrined in Quran and Sunnah and is being interpreted by the religious scholars. So now we have a look, and now it's easy to have a look at Iran. Iran tries to subvert all other governments by its proxies, by radical Islamists, to have states which are on the side of Iran, so they can govern as a hegemonial power from the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean. That's their aim, that's in the constitution, and they do it. So we find not only the Hezbollah not only being a state within the state, Hezbollah having got the majority in the state, and the Lebanese army being unable to act against Hezbollah. They're working together. So it's much more than a state in a state, Hezbollah, already now. Here's the situation in Syria, where the government depends from Iran and the militias. You have the situation in Iraq, where you have a strong system of militias in favor of Iran. So the government can't act completely against Iran. You have the situation in Yemen, and by the way, you have the situation in some African countries as well already. Iran goes over into Africa as well. So let's look at Turkey. You have the Erdogan being very near to the Muslim Brotherhood all the time. The biggest debacle of the 21st century was when the Egyptian prime minister was forced to resign. That's the biggest debacle for him. And of course, most of you will remember what he said lately, that the Muslim Brotherhood is all right, Hamas has to be helped, and the state of Israel has to go down. So we come to Jordan, and Jordan reflects in one specific point, or many other governments, and that is you have, of course, like in all Arab countries, Iran isn't an Arab country, and therefore it's different, and it has a different culture. But as in all Arab countries, the population was educated more than 50 years within the radical anti-Israel policy stream. That means the radical people from Muslim Brotherhood and other radical Islamic streams and movements were courted by the governments, at least regarding Israel. That means you have a radical anti-Israel feeling and movement among many populations. The governments are afraid of the radicals, and therefore they are afraid of their own population, whom they try to calm down by acting against Israel, at least in the propaganda. More than 50% of the Jordanian population are Palestinian, and therefore you will never find Jordan taking a stance against the state of the Palestinians, though they would abhor it. They don't want it, but they won't say it, because the population would be against them. So they are against the Palestinian statehood, but they act in favor of the Palestinian statehood in the UN and so on. We go to, and of course you heard Jordan is on the wish list of Iran, quite sure. Jordan has divided the Muslim Brotherhood into a peaceful part sitting in parliament and the terrorist part sitting in prison. And that's what they are proud of, and they say that. But you have terrorism within Jordan already, and it is very difficult. In Syria, I don't think I have to mention much. You have a radical opposition against the Syrian government, but this radical opposition is mainly controlled by Islamist forces. And you have the government which is on the side of Iran and helps Iran to bring in Shia people against Sunni people. And okay, that's and they are vehemently anti-Israel, quite sure. Iraq I mentioned, now we come to Egypt. We have the difficult situation that, of course, al-Sisi is completely against the Muslim Brotherhood and tries to deter them in every way. But at the same time, the son of al-Sisi was the responsible military for the border with Gaza. And he earned millions each year by controlling this border, letting in people and getting money from the tunnels and so on. Therefore, Egypt was against Israel going into Rafah, because it all was closed down and couldn't happen any longer. So you see, corruption in Egypt helped the Muslim Brotherhood and radical forces to get money and to survive at this point. And so Egypt is, of course, completely against the Muslim Brotherhood and wants the Muslim Brotherhood in the Gaza Strip to be destroyed. They can't say it in the open. Tunisia is even worse, but more apart. I don't mention it. The last part of the states are Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and the Abraham Accords, the states of the Abraham Accords. They want Israel to protect and to work together with them against Iran. They know all the dangers coming from Iran as a future hegemon in the region. They know the Iranian program, and they think Israel is doing a better job than the United States did under Obama and under Biden. Trump is the opposite. So that's the situation of the states of the Abraham Accords, and you must understand the Saudis. They say, we always want to be on the side of the Americans because they protect us, they give us weapons, even if there are Democrats who try to be friendly to them. Though in reality they think the democratic policy of Biden and Obama is the way to hell for the Middle East. They are sure about that. So these states are against Palestinian statehood at the moment because they think they are thieves and liars, the Palestinians. And they take the money, but they are radicals, and they don't want to go the peaceful way. These states would like them to go, but they can't say it in the open. You remember the population has been brought on the way against Israel for about 40 to 50 years. This has changed in the United Arab Emirates. That is changing in Saudi Arabia. But in Saudi Arabia, they still have to be afraid of their own population to a large part. Though the 500,000 around the governing royal families, they are completely on the side I just described. So if that's the situation, you see that you have a very fragile system of political cultures of states in the Middle East, and of course, everything would change if Iran would come down, if the mullah regime would come down and you would have another government in Iran. Everything would be changed. No more export of the Iranian Revolution and no more hegemonial claims would probably be the result. But till that happens, everything is very fragile. And so the security questions are overlapping with the legal impossibility of a Palestinian state as a Palestinian culture and the Palestinians are in the moment. Thank you very much.